Twice she has gotten in the car with an Uber driver that's listening to a Manosphere podcast. Talk about scary. Welcome to a new NetGalley vlog, a new Ready Set Net. This is going to be episode number 2. I'm going to try to read as many April ARCs as possible and get this out to you in the next couple of weeks. Right now it's the middle of March. It's March 18th. St. Patrick's Day was yesterday. And the first ARC I'm going to read is Odessa. And I'm very excited about this. I have this one on audio. I will pop a picture up right here. It is supposed to be a Slavic folklore horror set in Russia. And I don't really know a whole lot about it, except there's violence and a daughter dies and somehow she comes back. So I'm excited to get into that and see what I think. Hey, I'm about to go on a run, but I want to give you my first update on Odessa. So as I said before, Odessa is a Slavic folklore horror, and it is full of Jewish mysticism and old magics. There's a Jewish village that gets attacked by Gentiles, and a main character, Yetta, is hurt/killed, and then her father uses this Jewish magic to bring her back. And it is following the repercussions of that. Yetta, there's this one point where she's like, where's my pain? Where's my pain? And she keeps hurting herself, and it's very emotional and upsetting. And I don't know, this author, she really developed these characters very, very quickly. I became very attached and very invested very, very early on. I don't know how they did that. Maybe because the stakes are so high, since we are in Russia in a point in history where Jewish people are being attacked and put to death, and for barely any reason. So we know the stakes are high right off the bat. So maybe that's why I got so attached so quickly to Yetta and her family. But yeah, it's really hitting me hard. Yetta is brought back, and I'm not going to tell you how or what exactly happens there. She's dealing with the fact that she can't remember what happens. This whole village went through this horrible tragedy of many people dying, and she doesn't remember any of it. People are telling her father who brought her back is telling her one thing when her friends are telling her, no, this is what happened. And she's also dealing with changes in her body. So I am really, really liking this so far. You know, people are scared of her too because they thought she died. I'm already almost 40% of the way in. It is a pretty quick read. I think it's less than 300 pages. It's 200 and something, I believe. I am 40% of the way through. Really, really liking it so far. It is living up to the glorious cover. So I'm gonna get out and get this run done. I'm gonna run on the trail today. I'm hoping the conditions of the trail are okay. I think they will be. I'm so super excited. I have not been out on the trail in months, so let's go. I gotta go pick up my girl from the youth center. I ran 4 miles and now I'm post shower. No makeup or anything. I'm not into it today. So I'm just gonna video like this. This is how you got me. One thing about my face is I have very light eyelashes. So I just feel really naked without any sort of mascara on. And my eyebrows are really light. So I feel naked without a little eyebrow and a little mascara. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I got to 60-something% into Odessa by Gabrielle Scher, and this is the cover of it. I just love the cover of it. It's amazing. I mean, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna put it on the screen anyway, but oh, I love it so much. And we have Yetta, has been brought back, and so people her father especially, seem to feel like, we brought you back and you have this specific purpose and you have to be loyal to me, as in he can control her because he created her. So it's turning into a little bit of a Frankenstein-y type of thing, or it's like he wants to control her. And then we have her mother who is concerned for her well-being and her overall life and what she wants. And so she's going out and doing these things and getting hurt because she's being told to by her father. And I don't want to give away too much, so I'm being obtuse on purpose. It's an interesting thing where, you know, she was brought back without her consent. That was done to her. And now her life is not her own. And even like, yes, in this times in the early 1900s in Russia, like women obviously didn't have as much autonomy. But in this particular situation, she's not even being put back into the situation that she was in before, you know, probably going to get married and just being like a Jewish woman. She is being pushed into something else because of what she is now. And her father is making her do these things, and her mother is definitely concerned with her actual personhood. So it's interesting. And there's also this monster out there as well that we're dealing with now. I'm really liking it. The writing is really, really simple, I want to say, but it's really good and effective. I don't have much of knowledge about Jewish culture / folklore. Like, I know things TV, and I, you know, learned about the Holocaust in school, and I've read books from that time in history. I've read books from with Jewish characters in them, watched TVs with Jewish characters in them, but this is the first time I'm really reading anything about Jews in Russia, especially. So that is interesting, enjoying it, and I'd be interested to read a little bit more Slavic horror because I don't believe I've read much, if any, other ones. All right, so I gotta go get my daughter and go get her. I don't know how much more reading I'll do for the rest of the day for this vlog. I do think I should be able to finish this. So, editing Alicia here, I'm realizing that I didn't do several like last updates for two of these books in this episode, and so I'll just do that here and I'll put them throughout the video. Anyway, Odessa. I loved Odessa. I ended up giving it 5 stars. You'll see that in my wrap up in a couple of days. And yeah, I just loved all the themes of it. I loved the grief and the bodily autonomy, and I like the motherhood relationship with Yetta. And I really liked the ending. I thought that was interesting. It left it kind of open-ended, and yes, I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 5 stars. So I am 20% into We Call Them Witches. I got it on my Kindle stand, by India Rose Bauer. So this is a horror book, and it is in a world where, at least where these people are, it has been taken over by eldritch creatures that they're calling witches, but only because they don't have another name for them. Like, as the kids, they're saying, okay, what are something I was scared of in movies? Oh, a witch. And that's what they called them. But they're just like these eldritch creatures, and they're very, very creepy. There's a lot of gross descriptions of what they look like in here so far. Or there's not a lot. There's been a couple, but they said that they're like some creepy serial killers attempt at Frankensteining bodies together. So yeah, that's pretty gross. So that is interesting, and I'm liking that. But it is just this family's attempt to survive this world that they have been thrust into now that these creatures exist. And in the current part that we're at, the present timeline, because you're going back and forth between when it first started happening and the present timeline where the family is in a new place and they find a girl outside. They're just trying to set up these wards and bounds and things to protect them, but they keep moving from place to place when things change. So these creatures are repelled by pagan protection for some reason, and this family's parents were very superstitious or kept the old ways, and so knows them, and she had a charm in her dresser. She just happened to have one that her mother had given her, and it helped repel them. And so they've used this magic or pagan protection magic to help them survive in this world. There's also a non-binary character in here who is dead named all the time. Her mother, so be aware of that. Their name is Danny. They're older. They're in college or out of college and married. And then our main character is turning 18 soon. I'm liking it so far. I don't really have many thoughts on it. It feels like a 4 at this point so far. I am 70% into We Call Them Witches. And I don't know, guys. If this wasn't an ARC, I probably would be DNFing it at this point. But I'm already 70% in, so I kind of feel like I want to finish. You know, it's only a couple more hours left, but of course I could be reading something else. in those couple hours. But I don't know, there's just something about this that is just not keeping my interest. I've fallen asleep several times, which isn't, I'm not gonna hold that against it because it's me too. I just get sleepy reading sometimes, but it's just not holding my interest. The things that are happening in it are interesting. Like, I should be interested in it, but for some reason the writing is just not captivating me. It's not holding my interest at all. I feel like the characters are pretty bland, other than, I don't know, self-insert 18-year-old girl. Have no feelings. I don't like anybody. I don't dislike anybody. Everything just seems sort of white bread. And it shouldn't be, because it's like this crazy things that are happening, these creatures that are out there, and the creature descriptions are pretty cool. But, you know, I want to know why they're out there, but I don't know if we're going to get any of those answers. And Parsley is the girl they found out outside of the wards. And I mean, I think it's kind of obvious where that's going. So I don't know. I think I'm going to just try and finish. I'm on sprints with Gabby, and I'm going to try to, on her Patreon sprints, so I'm going to try to read for a little bit longer before I got to get dinner ready. It says, I always thought the world wouldn't end until we had at least one episode of BBC News where the journalists faced us with dour expressions and told us to hide, to seek shelter, to make sure we had enough supplies, maybe even some false hope to keep us going. A half-hearted promise that the government was working on it and that the army was being deployed, that everything would go back to normal as soon as possible. We didn't even get that. There just wasn't any time. Okay, I was able to finish We Call Them Witches. I did like the last 15% a little more than I liked the middle bits when they were moving from one place to another. I don't want to give anything away, but I saw the twist. It's not really a twist, but I saw some of the reveals coming, definitely. I thought it was pretty obvious. Yeah, some of it's pretty obscure, like, you don't actually know a lot of what is going on. You don't get many answers, which I don't mind. I did like I said, I did like the last little bit a little more than I was liking the middle parts. So I don't know. It's between a 2.5 to 3. It was just okay for me. I'd recommend giving it a shot. I don't think it's a bad book. It just didn't hit for me. There was no emotional buy-in for me, and I just did not care, and I don't know why. It does feel a little bit YA, like they would make some of these little jokes. They just did not land for me. Like, I get making jokes in a dire situation. I really do. I do it all the time. But I just thought they were kind of like, bleh. I don't know. This wasn't for me. It didn't end up being for me. In theory, I thought it was going to be for me, but it did feel a lot more YA than I was expecting. And like I said, the characters just didn't really seem very three-dimensional. They seemed very flat to me. Like I said, I didn't care. So this is going to be probably 2.5 to 2.75 at the most. And I'm going to move on to my next arc, which I think is going to be, I don't know, I might just pick at random something, because I got American Spirits, The Caretaker, Molka. We'll just see what I'm in the mood for. Into American Spirits by Anna Dorn, and I haven't updated you at all yet or even introed this book, so I probably should. The cover you can't really see. It's very dark. It's like a royal blue, so I'll just put a picture of it up. This book is about a famous singer recording artist, and she hires this assistant who is obsessed with her and has her own Reddit thread about her, about the hypothesizing of the recording artist relationships with her producer, I think, Sasha. So Rose is the assistant, and she's obsessed with her, but it doesn't seem like in a crazy way yet, but that may be coming. And then there's Sasha, who's her producer, I believe, and then Blue is the recording artist, the artist, and then Max is her sister. And Blue is like, I think in her 30s, and even her late 30s perhaps, and Rose is younger, obviously, but this does take place during the beginning of the pandemic, and her tour gets canceled, and she decides to hole up in a cabin in the redwoods of California with these 3 people. I don't think Max goes at this point. She's not there anyway, and apparently something tragic happens, but I don't know what. And it's okay so far. It's not really my thing. I like Anna Dorn. Okay. I liked Perfume and Pain. I think I gave it a 3.5, 4. There are things I definitely liked about it. I do like her writing a lot. So I was willing to give this one a shot, but the whole fame of it all doesn't really, like the whole, like we've gotten bits of like set lists and recording and them trying to come up with ideas, and I just don't care. I like music, but I don't really care about the production and process of it all. That's just not really my thing. They've gotten to the cabin at this point, so maybe things will get a little bit more unhinged, perhaps. There's a lot of smoking in it. They vape a lot. They smoke a lot of cigarettes, American spirits, if you will. We are getting some Reddit posts from Rose from the past when she was into all this stuff. The pandemic stuff I wasn't too fond of, but now we're at the cabin. I don't think it's going to be a focus. It's just these circumstances that have found them being stuck in this one place. Almost want to just get through this one because my other 2 arcs for this month are Molka and The Caretaker, and I'm much more excited about those for April. Yeah, those are definitely 5-star prediction. Who knows? It could be just like a fantastic triple 5-star time. I'm hoping for the next. So I just want to get through this one. So I'm tempted to DNF it, but I'm not hating it enough to DNF it. Like it's interesting enough for me. And I'm already 30% of the way through. So I might just knock it out today. We'll see. I ran this morning. It's actually sunny out, so I might try to go hang the hammock and sit outside for a little bit. And right now I'm warming myself up something for lunch. I'm going to have an Amy's Pizza because they were on sale last week, and I love them. I love their roasted veggie one. That's vegan, but the one I'm making today is I think it's just the margarita. It's got the big fresh mozz. Well, not fresh because it's frozen, but like mozz and tomatoes on it and sauce. So that sounds yummy. And I ran 4 miles today. It was perfect running weather when I went out. The trail is still a little soft, but not bad at all. So I think we're in good shape now for going on the trail. So I'm excited to get out there a lot more. There's a trail close by to me, like right on the way back from dropping the kids off at school, that I like to go to in the mornings, once it's warm enough in the mornings, which today was. So I got to get out there nice and early and get that done, which is my preferred way to do it. But in the wintertime, I just wait until it gets warmer out because, if it's going to be 30 something by midday, I'd rather run in that than in the teens. But today's going to be almost 60, so that's exciting. So there's a trail by me on the way back from dropping off the kids that I usually will go to, but it's not my preferred trail. It's not very scenic. It's not exciting. It's like a spur off of one of the airline trails, the old rail roads, but it's the most convenient. So if I want to make the best use of my time, that's where I go. But I think tomorrow I have to double check the weather, but if it's going to be decent out, I might go run by the shore, hit up the used bookstore, just stare at the ocean for a bit. And this weekend we are going to a wedding all the way up in New Hampshire, so I will be gone for most of that and not vlogging. So I'll update you guys Friday when I have something to say, but probably not over the weekend.
You got a big stick, Brian?
in the doggo. Why doesn't anyone want to watch Hail Mary? Project Hail Mary. When are you gonna watch Scary Movie? American Spirits, I know I wrapped up, but I'm pretty sure I pressed picture on my camera instead of record and didn't pay attention. I was outside. So yes, American Spirits, I did end up giving 2 stars. And I said, this one was just never really won me over. It was somewhat entertaining, but in the end, I was left unsatisfied and disappointed. I will say I'm not a huge fan of music-centered books, although I have enjoyed a few in the past. I enjoyed Anna's writing. That's why I requested the characters in this one just never really won me over, and the ending, WTF. I mean, I guess that explains why I didn't like the writing, and the characters seem blah to me. Anyway, others seem to be liking it, so don't listen to me if you are interested. So that was for American Spirits. Maybe Marquis Clare's gonna be his stamp is gonna be women doing things they don't think they should do, but doing them anyway, with their best instinct is to say no, but they do it anyway. Like in We Used to Live Here. Can I come? I used to live here. Can we come in inside and check out the house? No, but yes. Creepy Craigslist ad gets even creepier upon interview and viewing of a VHS tape. Probably shouldn't take it, but yes. I'm 63% of this now, and now twice she has gotten in the car with an Uber driver that's listening to a Manosphere podcast. Talk about scary. I got to 50-something% of The Caretaker last night, and I will say not much has really happened so far. He does that really good thing where you have that sense of foreboding, even though like nothing really crazy is going on yet. We're just kind of getting to her first night in the house, where I assume things are going to go off the rails a bit. So we haven't really gotten to that yet. The creepiest thing that's happened so far was the first chapter, and then a little ways later when she's watching the VHS tape telling her the things that she is expected to do in this house. She does have definitely some mental health issues. She seems like she might, she definitely has some anxiety and maybe some spectrum of, somewhere on the spectrum for autism a bit too, because she says that she has trouble reading social cues and making eye contact and those kind of things. I don't know if that's going to come up anymore in here. She has intrusive thoughts, and I feel like those were a good representation in here so far. She has these things she's supposed to be doing and she's panicking about it. Like a light is on and she's like, turn off the light, turn off the light, turn off the light, turn off the light. And thoughts and like, leave now, leave now, leave now. And she probably should trust some of these ones. But anyway, I'm enjoying it so far. We're getting to the good stuff, I think. And we'll see. I am off to the book barn because I have to go to Costco to pick up a few things. I want to see if they have any of those like hammock chairs, the foldable ones I could put on our little porch, because we don't have like a porch. We just have like a little back stairs, and there is room if I wanted to put a chair there, so I might do that. It's really warm today, and book barn's by the ocean, so maybe I'll read by the sea for a little bit. That might be nice. It's only 10:30. I ran today. I got grocery shopping today. I put the groceries away. I showered. I put on my eyebrows and my mascara, so that's good. So I'm gonna go see what I feel like doing. Sometimes I get over there and then I'm just over it. So it's gloomy out today. So it's going to be a salty day. I did a lot yesterday and I think I deserve a day of rest before the kids are off for the weekend, since tomorrow is Good Friday. Anyway, I finished The Caretaker last night. Well, mostly I finished it last night, and then I had to reread the last few chapters this morning because I was not picking up everything that was being put down last night. I was like nodding off the whole time, even though it was an exciting last bit of the book. My brain was just not, it wanted to turn off. So I reread the last 20 minutes of this last night. Morse code is not included in here, so that is kind of sad. So I'm looking forward to when the real publication comes out so that we can figure out what that will say. However, I am going to give this 5 stars. If it's not, it might be more like a 4 point something for me. That was my initial reaction when I finished it last night, but then when I reread it this morning, I ended up thinking it was more closer to a 5. So I think I'm going to give it a 5 on Goodreads. it was a good time and weird and made you think. There's a lot of themes. I don't know if I said that her dad died previous to the beginning of this book, and she's taking care of her younger sister who's 17, almost 18. They don't have any money, and that's why she's taking this job, because she needs the money. And yeah, her dad died very suddenly. He drove off a bridge. Some say maybe it was intentional, but they don't have any proof of that. Obviously is dealing with a lot of grief because of what happened when she goes into this house. And she has, I think I said, she has a lot of like intrusive thoughts. And I feel like this is a very good and succinct reflection on when you lose someone, even previous to losing someone with anxiety and panic and all that. But when you lose someone and the worst happens, the worst thing that you can think to happen happens, and suddenly after that it's like you want to control all these things so that you don't get surprised again by life. You're anxious all the time, and you have these things that you do, nonsensical things, to try to prevent that from happening, your world from ending, right? So I feel like the rites and the rituals in here, the rites that she has to do in this house to follow through with what being the caretaker of the house means, then that is reflection on the same thing that people with anxiety and panic disorders and PTSD go through every day, with thoughts in their brain of, do this or this is going to happen, do that or this is going to happen. It won't happen if you turn the lights on and off 3 times, or if you take a right turn instead of a left turn, etc. There's a lot of that in here, and it gave me a lot of anxiety because I definitely have felt that before. I thought that was really well done in here. And so, yeah, the descriptions on grief, depression, there's talk of depression and suicide in here. Just be aware of that. I think the way that he describes depression here was very well done and true to my experience. I think this was good. The ending, it's a horror book, so maybe it's not a spoiler to say the ending is devastating. I want to know what happens next, but we don't know. And I'm curious to reread We Used to Live Here to see if there's anything I could pick up between the 2 books. We Used to Live Here is strangers coming into the house, and this book is you going into a stranger's house. So it'd be interesting to see what he does next. I am really glad I read this. I was hoping it would be a win, and it was definitely a win. I'm going to go on to read Molka now, I believe. So that one should be quick, and I can be able to edit this and get this up. And Briar joined me. She's giving me good snuggles. It's a very yucky day. It's a bit cloudy and gloomy now. I don't think it's raining anymore, but it is chilly. And then Ellie went over there. What you got? Hey. Get it. Good dad. Where are you going? I can't see you. Why is outside? She wants to come in. Give me that. Give me that. He's so cute. You're crazy. You're crazy. Come here, baby girl. You never played it. I am making myself stop reading this so I can give you an update. I'm already 52% in. I've been sitting here all morning reading mostly without much of a break, but I haven't wanted to stop reading. In Molka, we are following a woman who is in a relationship with this very rich guy. We are in Korea. She is dating this guy who makes a lot of money and is a misogynist pig asshole. And then there is another guy whose perspective we are also getting, who works at her workplace, who is also an asshole. And he is putting up cameras in their workplace and spying on women. And the way he talks is just so disgusting and makes me feel greasy and grody and sleazy, and it's so gross. He's talking about women he works with body parts, he's talking about their underwear, he's describing them, he's fantasizing about them, he's pleasuring himself to thoughts and images of them, and it's just so gross. So if you didn't know, Molka is a phenomenon and problem, something that's happening in Korea where there's a lot of hidden cameras everywhere, and you know, there are these sites where men can go watch them, and women and other people are getting caught on camera during their most private moments, and apparently it's an epidemic in Korea. So that is why Monica Kim wrote this book. So our main character, I think her name is pronounced Dahae, or something like that, but it's Korean, so I know I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly. I wanted to just call her Day, so I don't know if that's correct. I don't have the audio book, so I apologize if I am mispronouncing it. But she had a sister that passed away from an apparent suicide. She drowned. She went missing, and then they found her drowned. So our main character is the second born, and the sister that passed away is our firstborn, and she always felt like they loved her older sister more, and that she was the perfect child, and she was very jealous of her, and she somewhat blames herself for what happened to her because of reasons that you can read about. Also, this guy that she is dating, this rich asshole guy, turns out to be even more of an asshole than we even know from the beginning. I mean, right off the bat, you kind of feel like he's sleazy, and then as it goes on, you find out even more things that make him seem even more sleazy, and then again, even more things. I'm really hoping these guys get what's coming to them. I know this is supposed to be a revenge type story, so I am hoping that this is a little bit of a fantasy come true for all of us girls out here and women who have been done wrong. Let's hope these guys gets what's coming to them. Dahae is also seeing / being haunted by some sort of entity. We don't know what that is, but she's seeing things out of the corner of her eye. Sometimes she thinks she's going a little bit crazy, so there is that element in there as well. But I am really liking this. I really like her friend. She is very much a good friend, and that at least is nice to see. She's probably the only good person in this book so far, other than our main girl, who is just a bit gullible, and she's taking people as face value, and she just seems like a nice person, and she's treated this guy at her work that's doing these horrible things. She doesn't know that, just nicely, you know, not special, but just like he's a person, and she says thanks to him and hi to him, and now of course now he's obsessed with her, and we're getting moments of him doing things that are very obviously inappropriate and stalkerish to try to figure out what's going on with her. And so I'm going to finish this. I'll probably not catch you again until I'm done, because I think I have like 2 hours left in this according to my Kindle, and I'm reading it very quickly. I'm excited to finish it. Molka, I blasted through that today. I'm really trying to get these last April arcs done at the beginning of April. And so I just like sat down and just locked in and finished it today. I'm going to give it 4 stars. I really like her writing. I think she has getting the reader pissed off and frustrated and angry. She has a talent for making you really mad. And it's nice that she can evoke that anger in me. And I have a good time with the conclusions of the 2 books of hers that I've read. This is her second one. The first one was The Eyes Are the Best Part. Yeah, and so I have fun with the conclusions of her books, but they're not, the last 2 haven't been like a full 5 stars for me. I just don't get that like extra special 5-star feeling, but I am thoroughly entertained. Books that tend to be 5 stars for me, either they have me like smiling and like feeling the whole time, or they really make me think. And I, so far in her books, I have mostly just felt like, ooh, that was a good time. That was a fun time. So 4 stars. Anyway, I am done with that one. Next. Anyways, it's a little bit of a mess here, but I do hope you enjoyed this video. I was able to get through 4 arcs, 5 arcs, something along those lines. I read, what did I read? I read Molka, I read Caretaker, I read Odessa, and I read We Call Them Witches, and I read, what was the last one I read? American Spirits. So that's 5, right? So I got through 5 arcs here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Maybe give me a piggy from Molka, which if you've read it, you will know why. Anyway, I will see you next time. Bye.